What's interesting is we help you basically compartmentalize and categorize all these different aspects of your life experience. Because, for example, if you have like, take Facebook for an example, it's just one timeline, right? There's no
Yeah.
structure to it, right? In our universe, right, in this life arc, we have like different categories of life experience. So you'll have one kind of timeline where it's just Harper. You'll have another timeline that it's like your family, and then when you go in that, you have your father, your mother, your grandparent, right? So you can just start populating with information about every single different person, and within that person, you know, their interests, their birthday, where they grew up, what they studied. Then you have a
Yeah.
part for your early life, right? Like your high school, your college. Who were the people that influenced you? What were the books that you like? What was the music that you listened to? And then we keep going and we keep going in terms of like, you know, the things that you love, the things that you're interested in, your books, your music. So it's a way to basically centralize everything that makes you who you are all in one place, because now you have an account on social media, you have an email, you have an iTunes account, you have YouTube, you have all these different like separate things. But if you were going to give something to Harper to say, hey, this is who your dad is, these are the things that I want to share with you, and these are the things that are important for you to know,
Yeah.
it's all in one place. Plus, what's super interesting is I've always, you know, I studied religion. I've always been interested in self-development. I've also worked with psychologists and business coaches. I've worked with psychologists when it comes to dealing with my ex-wife. I've worked with psychologists and business coaches when it comes to dealing with business. So I've always been like super self-reflected and introspective, and I love that sort of stuff. And I've realized that, you know, answering questions like, what's your definition of success? What's your definition of love? What's your definition of good and evil? What are your thoughts on death, loss, sacrifice, struggle?
So good. So
Yeah,
good.
these are all things that you have to, not have to, but it's useful to like get on paper and ask yourself those questions. And then
Yeah.
your answers to those questions are things that you could be sharing with your kids, right?
I think a lot of times in our culture, we're so busy being busy. We're so busy teaching kids how to make paper airplanes and taking them to the mall to buy stuff and getting them play dates and just constantly in this, from what I see, in this culture of activity. And these heavy questions that you just answered, to have those moments and reflect with your child about what does it mean to die? What does it mean to? I love what you said. The about love, but there was
Good and
something
evil,
else. Good and evil is just amazing,
success,
and success.
success.
What a
Yeah.
great, what is the definition of success, and what does that mean to you? And let me tell you what it means to me,
Mm.
and let me tell you what success is, and to be able to tell a child that, you know, I've had these conversations of meaning of life with my father, but they've been few and far between. And we're having more of those conversations now than I've ever had in my entire life. Now that, you know, we both have faith in our life, now that we're walking through this journey together with my daughter, and his mom just passed away. And my dad is being the dad I've always wanted him to be. And I think, to parlay the whole being a father, being a husband, being a leader and business owner, you know, being a father, what does it mean to be a father? And in my opinion, being a father is the most precious gift we can ever have. But then it's also the biggest sacrifice. And then you think about being a husband. Okay, also one of the most precious gifts a man can have, and one of the biggest sacrifices. And then you think about being a business leader, also one of the most precious gifts a man can have, and one of the biggest sacrifices. It's all the same.
Yep.
I love what Craig Groeschel says at the end of his podcast. He says, people always want to follow a leader they want to follow leaders who are always real and not a leader who's always right. If I'm who I am at home, who I am as a father, and who I am as a business leader, not only does that take a level of guilt and you know, am I chasing after the right things? I genuinely care about my staff. I genuinely care about the success of serving customers. And I can get hurt too. It's okay. But at the end of the day, we're going to get through this because we're a family, we're a team, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
make this work. And we're here on a mission and we have a vision. And if I'm leading a household, what's the same thing? What's the mission of our household? What's the vision we have as a family? Do we have goals as a family?